Way back in 2002, Yaesu introduced the FT-897. The 897 was patterned after the earlier released and still very successful FT-817 QRP transceiver. The 897 shares some of the same attributes. It covers all bands from 160 meters up through 70 centimeters. It's got capability for an internal battery pack, and it's got a rugged design. The 897 morphed into the 897D, which differed only slightly. Then a couple of years ago was replaced in the Yaesu line by the FT-991. Given the FT-897D's long lifespan as an active product, it eventually came under fire by many amateur radio operators for being an old design that had fallen behind the rest of the market in terms of features and capabilities. Many hams were pleased with the new FT-991, which brought to market many of the desired new features in a similar form factor to that of the FT-897D. There is only one problem with the current situation. The FT-991 is not an ideal portable radio. While its compact size lends itself to being easily transported, and the new features make it a superior transceiver when compared to the FT-897D, it fails on the most basic requirement for a portable radio: power consumption. Yaesu beefed up the 991 with some tremendous technology, including enhanced digital signal processing and a large color screen. These new features make operating the 991 a real pleasure. However, all the new features consume a lot more power than the stone knives and bearskins approach utilized in the 897 series. Having said all of that, let's take a look at a few of the reasons why the FT-897 is still considered an extremely useful portable rig today. Perhaps the very best feature of the FT-897 is its low current draw on receive. This is the feature which led me to purchase a used FT-897 for about the same price I would have paid for other, more modern compact transceivers. When the radio is set up for maximum power efficiency, the FT-897 will draw less than 700 milliamps on receive. Compare that with the FT-991, which draws in excess of 2 amps on receive. Similar current draw of 2 amps on receive can be found in almost all other compact and mid-sized transceivers from other manufacturers. For example, the ICOM 706 series and the ICOM 7000. Power drain on receive is extremely important, as even in a contest environment, the transceiver will be in receive mode most of the time. Naturally, this is an extremely important specification, as current draw determines battery life when operating in the field. When operating on battery power, it's extremely important to keep an eye on the voltage being provided to the transceiver by the battery. Most transceivers do not have the capability to display input voltage, but the FT-897 does. Having the voltage reading on the display means not having to carry a voltmeter along with your portable gear. That means one less thing to forget and keep track of. When the display is configured correctly, the voltage is shown at the upper right-hand corner. This allows you to notice when the battery is running low, and at that point remove the spent battery and put a fresh, fully charged one in its place. This is not just a consideration for good operating, but potentially also for the health of the transceiver, as microprocessors found in rigs manufactured over the past 30 years can produce unexpected and adverse results when the voltage is too low. When operating the FT-897 on battery power, I suggest pulling the plug or replacing the battery when the voltage drops to 11.5 volts. There are some great competing 100-watt HF portable transceivers in current production and on the used market, but few have the ability to operate from 160 meters to 70 centimeters in all modes. Even though most of us operate HF portable for fun, I think we can all imagine a scenario where our gear might one day be needed in an emergency situation. Having more than just HF in the box is a big bonus and gives the operator more options. By the way, many VHF and UHF weak signal operators swear by the effectiveness of the 897 for CW and SSB performance on 2 meters and 70 centimeters. I haven't mentioned some of the Yaesu offered options for the FT-897. These included an internal AC supply, internal batteries, and an optional bolt-on tuner. Now, one note about the batteries here. The batteries are expensive. The charging system for them is similarly expensive. While they're very handy, and those that have them have used them to great effect, be aware that you can use external SLA batteries, which will cost a fraction of the amount and provide similar operating times, if not better. However, do bear in mind now you're carrying a separate item and the associated gear that goes along with it. The FT-897 is a great physical specimen. It's a solidly built radio with quality switches and knobs. It's not at all plasticky like many modern small transceivers. The VFO knob is large and has a big rig feel. From the moment you pick the 897 up, it's apparent you won't have to baby the radio when you take it into the field. At 8 pounds, you're not likely to have it slide off the table if you pull the microphone cable too tightly, or if someone trips on the coax, heaven forbid. Look at the carrying handle on the side. It's the best one I've ever seen on a radio built for the ham marketplace. This radio was truly built for the outdoors. Okay, we've heard the good. Now let's take a look at some of the knocks against the FT-897. Perhaps the most common complaint lodged against the 897 is its noisy receiver. Full disclosure on this one, the FT-897 does have a noisy receiver, especially when compared to many modern transceivers that feature IF level digital signal processing. What is key to note about the 897's lack of IF DSP is that in this case it's actually a good thing. This is because IF DSP draws a lot of current. The vast majority of transceivers that have IF DSP will draw 2 or more amps of power on receive. In practical terms, that increased drain will result in a whole lot less operating time on batteries than the FT-897 will provide. The bottom line is that if you're looking for a base or mobile radio that will have a constant, reliable power source, you might want to look elsewhere. But for battery-powered, portable operations, the noisy receive is a trade-off for extended operating time. Let's also not forget that when operating HF portable, you're likely to experience more ambient noise in the outdoor environment than that in your home shack. In portable situations, the background hiss heard on the receiver is not nearly so noticeable. Seriously, dude, look at that tiny display. What's up with that? I want a radio with a real display. Well, this is the sort of thing that FT-897 potential customers say. Now let me tell you why this small display, which is a chief drawback, is actually a great thing. Can you guess why the display is so small? If you think it's to reduce power consumption, you're bang on. Consider the full-size tuning knob and other rotary controls as a side benefit of the small display. On the plus side, the display is easily readable, even in bright sunlight, unlike the displays in many other HF transceivers. The last common complaint about the FT-897 is the menu-driven design. If you hate menus, you're either going to have to choose a larger, different rig with higher power consumption, get a QRP radio instead, or learn to live with the menus. Speaking as a voice operator only, I do not find the menus to be an issue. Menus help small radios be small, and to me, that is a fair trade-off. Let's not lose sight of the fact that modern rigs are power tools. Like any power tool, you need to learn how to use it to get the most out of it. There is no doubt that Yaesu made some compromises when they produced the FT-897. But with their stated goal of creating a transceiver which could be used well in a portable environment while still maintaining big rig knobs and VFO and full band coverage from 160 meters on up to 70 centimeters in all modes, I think this is one absolutely terrific portable transceiver, and sadly there really isn't one like it available as new in the amateur radio marketplace today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the FT-897. Thank you for watching, and please, if you like my videos, subscribe. 73 from VE3 TWM.